Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Let me see who was here first. All right. I hope you guys are watching Pedal today. I don't think Pedal had a live in a while, so that was a treat. Let me see here. Gwendolyn Daniels, you were here first. Thank you so much. All right. There are no prizes, but thank you. Let me see. Marcy Foreman, Black Queen, Annie Bennett, Connie Balmer. Hey, Connie Balmer. Susie Q, Kim Peaches. Okay. Uh, Joan Garcia. That is you. Welcome, welcome. Let me see here. Elaine Parker. I'm gonna scroll all the way down to the end, and I'll say hi to you guys individually. Sawboss is here. Lydia Washington, Foxy, Lucy Wynn, you're the last one in. Thank you so much. Oh, Karen M. There we go. All right, so with that, let me grab my slides that I was working on all the way up to the very last second. You know, the hardest part is the thumbnail. So sometimes I recycle them. Sometimes I get lazy and I start to recycle them. Anyway, I hope you guys watched that short video that I posted early this morning. I timed it and then I went to bed. But it itemizes part or the whole of Harry's complaint, or key. No, I think it's key sections of his complaint. So I hope you guys did watch that. All right, so there we go. I decided to recycle this. I decided to recycle this one. When I recycle, you know how they say they don't send their best or the brightest? I don't send. Well, I am very petty in the way that I pick and choose. How about that? Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Oh, and by the way, you guys, there are some new levels to the membership. Um, yeah, and don't change if you don't want to. There's no, need to do that. But just, for anyone who wants to do something different, the perks are still the same. You got some stickers, and then it says I can do video lives for members only. I think that might be fun. So that's why I changed the membership. I think I want to do that. Let's try to do that after the coronation. And also, somebody will probably have to remind me after the coronation, because I promise you, as soon as I log off, I will have forgotten about it. So if you have a membership already, there's no need to change it just to have access to that. At least I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Um, and one of the reasons why I didn't feel like messing with that membership is because they want you to add all those perks and stuff. And I'm already so busy. No, I can't do that. That's like another thing added, and that's too much. I'm a baby boomer. I'm easily overwhelmed by tasks. So we'll see how it goes. Uh, Let me see here. Oh, thank you so much, Joan Garcia. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Let's see. Oh, okay. Laverne Lockhart, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. I didn't even know it, but there's over 200 people that are members to the channel. So if you are a member of the Royal Sussex on the YouTube, or if you have chosen to use the Patreon, remember with the Patreon, you don't have access to those stickers. I think that's the only difference so far. But if you want to switch from the Patreon and move your membership over to the YouTube, you could do that, whichever is more convenient for you. But I pretty much with either one of them, there's like not a whole bunch of extra stuff going on, so don't worry about missing anything. Dorothy Ross with the hugs. Thank you so much for that. Okay. All right, so let's move on then. Okay, so right here, everybody's been buzzing about the Ari Emanuel. Everybody's been buzzing about this guy. Well, let me tell you something. The Emanuel brothers, they kind of. Oh, wait a minute. Is that why that's cut off? Let me see here. No. Oh, it's all. No, it's not cut off. I mean, it is cut off, but not when I layered it. But anyway, so the Emanuel brothers, those are the people you just don't want as an enemy. You understand what I'm saying? You do not want them as an enemy. And so, yes, Rahm Emanuel, his brother, is oh, Annie Bennett, thank you so much for 10 months membership. You know what? I just opened up my other page and I'm glad I did that so I can see stuff like that. So if you guys had that going past and I didn't notice it, um please don't be offended. It's just I the screen I'm working on does not show that. The other screen, I just sometimes forget to open it. But yes, let me see here. So, okay. Oh, I see this right here. Let me see. Baroness Prop on the Daily Telegraph. Uh, oh, is that? Oh, I think I'm going to talk about that. I think I'm going to talk about that already. So yes, thank you so much for the super chat. Right, and Leg says, Joe Grubeck. Is that? Am I saying it right now? Joe Grubeck. Joe Grubeck. Okay. Thank you very much for the super chat. Leg says, "Oh, they are so silent in Salty Island." I love when people say Salt Island. Uh, if they if they damage Megan's or Archwell's brand, they will get it. Poor Nana, she just got that job. New day. Yeah, right? Nana, is it Akua? Yeah, she got a new job, new clothes, new hair, everything's new. And all of that bio that she has been throwing at the Sussexes has finally paid off. You guys, I found like this very obscure, she used to do like those in between commercial promo voiceovers. She used to do that for one of those channels over there. And I found one of those where, anyway, um, is such a tacky like promo. But anyway, so I guess she's moving up. So yes, thank you so much, Legs, for pointing that out. And thank you for the super chat. But yes, they have been pretty quiet about this situation. I should not wonder why, because, okay, on the Twitter streets, they have been saying that this may shut down quite a few people that have like have an in for the Sussexes and also have a desire to work in certain places. And also, it's a certain amount of leverage about I don't want to get too much into those details, but there's a lot of leverage by being connected to this company, because not only do they represent people, but they also represent governments. And they have been in this business for a long time. If you watch the video, I think it was 1898 the company started. So they have been at this for a while. And okay, so Ari Emanuel, the tenacious super agent disrupting Hollywood. Let me see. Endeavor's acquisition. Oh, by the way, thank you so much for that, Legs, and thank you for being here as per usual. Okay, let me. All right, looks good. Okay, so Endeavor's acquisition of wrestling WWE is just the latest in a string of ambitious deals. The deals expand Endeavor into an entertainment giant with 11,000 employees across the world. Like I said, they also manage government people, high, some pretty big weight people. Okay, let me see, and the client roster that includes heavyweights Oprah Winfrey and Martin Scorsese. They also propelled Emanuel into the ranks of Hollywood's ruling executives, along with Disney's Bob Iger and Warner Brothers Discovery's David Zaslav. Okay. And then, of course, and now this is where part of it gets cut off. When Emmanuel co founder and talent agency Endeavor in 1995, he worked out of a small office above a hamburger restaurant in South Beverly Hills. And let me see, it also says, oh, Light Side of the Moon. Hey, Ann, I just saw Ann is here. Let me see here. Let me do this one first. The silence from the UK controversial as he has been in the past. Ari is the protection Meghan needs. I'm so happy today. Yes, yes. And Light Side of the Moon has a super chat. Also, Baron, the William Morrison Endeavor legal team protection is no joke, right? Who would want to mess with Megs now? Idiots, right? Right. And thank you so much, Lightside, for the super chat. Okay, let me see here. So he went from working like over a hamburger joint. Uh-oh, didn't mean to do that. Sorry about that. This is what I was trying to do. There we go. All right, touched the wrong thing. I do that sometimes. It's very awkward in a crowded train, but that's another story. But he had a big aspiration to take on the establishment and dominate the entertainment industry. An aggressive deal maker, he merged Endeavor with rival William Morrison, acquired sports media group IMG and Ultimate Fighting Championship, along with about 20 more transactions. He was also wary of the 5 a.m. jittery and anxious. He could not stay in bed and he would prowl around the house looking for something to occupy his mind. Nowadays, the Endeavor chief is known for relentless ambition and a foul mouth. Okay, now Ari, I don't know so well, but you guys, I am still a big fan of the Clintons, but you guys know that. During a very tumultuous period between the two political parties, the Democrat and Republican Party, his brother, who they have like a very shall we say, they kind of compete with each other, but in a friendly way. They don't, they're not trying to hurt one another. But they are, how do I put it? They are very, very high achievers. So his brother, during like the height of like a political battle, actually sent a dead fish to a Republican, which, understanding how things go, that was a little warning shot. He sent a dead fish. I mean, that was old school. So I love his brother already because one of the things he was so good at was giving the Republicans the what for. And so, because they are nearly cut from the same cloth, but two very different people, it just doesn't surprise me that there's a lot of silence right now. This guy, This guy is he's the real deal. And as for his brother, I don't. His brother actually studied ballet, but given like the aura around him and the aura around Ari, um, they're better to be your friends than your enemies. I'll put it like that. They make better friends than enemies. And so good for him. It doesn't surprise me that he would go from that situation to being like this big shot in Hollywood. It just doesn't surprise me. So right there it says invoke. Designer Sarah Stout wears 8 outfits to marry celeb agent Ari Emanuel in Saint Topaz rather. Nothing says glamour like Sant. Is it Saint Tropez? It's not Tropez, it's Saint Tropez. I think the Z is silent, right? In Saint Tropez. And the latest wedding to grace the celeb hotspot was jam packed with swoon worthy details. Well, apparently, she is a clothing designer. And according to the Sussex Squad Detective Agency, this outfit, which you had the sneak peek, was designed by her. Um, as you can see, the name there, Styled. That peach colored short pants and blazer suit that Meghan wore, casual, elegant, but yet smart and chic. The one that she wore to the game, well, that is a creation of hers. So there's Meghan at the Lakers game in Los Angeles wearing that outfit. Very cool. And good for her that she can still carry off something like that. And dare I say, proportion wise, I would say that Meghan wears it just as well, if not better, than the actual model. So there you go. Very cool. And let me pull this back for a second. Let me see what's next before I go on. Okay, yeah. Let me take a look at the chat for a second before I continue. Let me see here. So, yes, this is good news. One of the Emanuel brothers is a well known doctor. Oh, there's another one. Okay, because I've only known of the two. Thank you for sharing that. Emmanuel, I love him. He doesn't play with those, what is that? Red, what is that? Oh, I don't know that word. Red, is it rethug, some Rethuglicans. Instead of Republicans, it's Rethuglicans. Got it. And the Scumpers, I knew about him more than Ari. Meghan has the real deal backing her. Yes, yes, this is good news. This is good news. You need somebody who knows how to deal with the likes of those people, because otherwise, um, you know, I'm sure that they're just trying to regroup and trying to posture over there in Narnia to figure out how to respond to this. But I tell you what, it's uncharacteristic of them to not rattle off a bunch of articles, multiple articles about a topic like this. So, well, we'll see. Okay, this got me a little bulletin here. Okay. Uh huh. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for that. All right. Thank you, Marshar. And let me scroll a bit here. Aquazera? What is that? Pineapple bottom shoes? Oh, really? I did not notice. Oh, well, there it is right there. Oh, yes, I've seen those before with the pineapple like embossed on the bottom of them. Very cool. And I think pineapples are like a symbol of abundance. Pineapples and I think the acorn. Okay. All right. So moving on. Right here, Megan will explore film and television production brand partnerships, and overall business building, but acting will not be an area of focus. Will not be an area of focus. So they haven't ruled it out, of course, but as things stand, it is this is not, to secure acting gigs. And I believe that. I think Megan has moved on from acting when she had her 7 years on Suits. A lot of a lot of people say that when a television show gets to the seventh season, it is time to move on. So I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't factor into everything coming together, not just one part, but several parts coming together and making that decision to step back. It's okay to change careers and to try to use that as some type of leverage against her, or some way to I guess criticize her. It's so foolish. I mean, people make changes all the time. Just like the big fuss about Harry going to America and leaving his family behind. Do you know how many people in the world do that exact thing? And some people never see their families again. And these are modern times. That's the only reason why you can just go on a plane and see someone in 10 hours or 5 hours or whatever. In the old days, that was, how many royals have been married off and sent to live in another country? I don't think Marie Antoinette ever saw her mother again, did she? I mean, not using her as an example, but I'm just saying it's a thing. A lot of people marry and never see their family again. So, but these are modern times. It's not like that anymore. So, okay, Meghan hits the big league, Duchess of Sussex. Oh, are we using her title now? Are we using her title? Are we changing already? Is that, wait, are we using her title now? God, this may be working faster than I thought. Okay. Duchess of Sussex signs with Hollywood power agency William Morris. Let's say WME. I gotta step down. I just love saying William Morris. It just sounds so prestigious. Whose other clients include Dwayne The Rock Johnson and her friend Serena Williams. Oh, wait. So she is the Duchess of Sussex and she does have a friend. Now, I didn't look at the article, but if they gotten through that article without quoting the price of the stately, palatial, opulent, picturesque Sussex manor, then I would truly be impressed. I would truly be impressed. Not enough to ever think favorably of the Daily Fail, but be that as it may, at least she's gotten her title back now. Joan Garcia says, Baron, they may be quiet, but do you hear the gnashing of teeth from Shepherd? Yes, some of them are going to be up all night, gnashing their teeth, dreaming of a way to this or a way to that. But yes, I do hear some kind of like scrunching noise, and it is likely the friction of that yellow glaze that some of those haters have on the enamel of their teeth, creating friction with the opposite yellow glaze on the gnashing of their teeth. So yes, I think if I listen close enough, I can. But yes, thank you for that, Joe Garcia, and also thank you so much for being a member of Royal Sussex. Okay, let me see. Wait a minute, I thought Anne was on a date. Wasn't Anne on a date? But I know there's a time difference. But never mind. I just thought she was on a date right now. That's all. Uh, in the announcement, they say from the former Meghan Markle. Oh, really? Oh, so from the Daily Fail, they said that now she has moved on. Wow. Okay. What? Oh, you know what? Oh no, that's the announcement from the that was from the agency, right? I know I heard that. I heard the former somewhere. Was that the article or was that the announcement from or this article in Variety? Or was that the statement that was in the article in Variety? but I know I heard someone say in the announcement. So then you said announcement, so that must means it comes from Variety. Huh. Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? That is her married name. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is legally her name. Harry, Prince Harry. I mean, how many people even know Harry's last name? We just know Prince Harry, and Prince Harry is known as Prince Harry. So it comes with marriage. That's his birthright is her birthright, and especially the children's birthright. So thank you so much, Lydia Washington, and also thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. I got to get a piano. Let me see here. Okay, this looks messy. I want in on it. Title dripping out of their mouths like crap butter. They better start putting a T on that respect, right? Respect on it. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Crystal Scott. Oh man. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Am I losing my place here? Oh, there it is. So Lex says they want to see the WME represents of. I'm sorry, one more time. They want to see what WME represents of Meghan, of Princess Meghan, rather. Once they find out, they will go for any loophole. WME might have to shut them down last week, or is it next week? Last week. Um, well, you know what? Um, it may just come down to whoever wrote the announcement. I think that for most Americans, the actual protocols of when and when not to use, and I hate saying protocol because it's been so overblown, but the exact time and place to use a title for someone may be limited to whoever wrote the copy or wrote the statement. Meghan may not have approved it. It was just done. And they probably didn't even ask her. And some people like to have fun with the idea of saying Princess so and so and Duchess so and so. People like to have fun with that. For us in the US, it's a novelty. It's not a way of life for us. It's not a matter of us showing any exceptional deference for someone. It's a novelty, and we have fun with it. Unlike, some people who are royalists and, they live and die by whether or not we keep that family rich and safely ensconced in their multiple homes. So, I mean, who knows? But yeah, they will straighten it out, and they are just the agency. They are just the people to put them in their places. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I do hope and pray that this means some positive changes for the Sussexes and the way that they have been treated by the tabloid press and by, quite a few other people. And if that is the case, then, it makes things easier for me because sometimes when I lash out, I mean, it's not out of hostility, it's out of frustration. And I get tired of people, you know, bullying them and striking against them, and they're not even over there. So, it's just my way of coping with it. And I promise you guys, I didn't mean to start the channel with shade. It was a response to the frustration that I had. And it's not like I'm doing it deliberately. You guys, I mean, you all that have been watching Royal Sussex, sometimes it just comes, but it's never out of hate or hostility. It's just frustration. That's where it comes from. But anyway, Legs, thank you again for the super chat. And thank you for always having a very interesting point of view. Alma Andrews says, now they're seeing their irrelevance definition clearly defined. Yes, yes. Thank you, Almer Andrews. Yeah, this whole idea that they're so irrelevant, nobody wants to work with them. They don't have any friends. Um, I would say they're like any other working family in America that that they're not living their lives to be on the red carpet. That is a standard for the author who writes that kind of stuff. It is not who the Sussexes are. It's never been who they are. Also, when they make this big deal about what Harry is missing out on by not being with his family, that is a standard that they want to live up to. Harry doesn't want that life. He walked away from it, and probably gladly so. He wants his family, not the institution. ES, thank you so much for the Cash App, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And reminding me to turn that ringer off before somebody calls me. But yes, thank you so much for that, and thank you for being here. And thank you, Alma Andrews. That is outstanding. Another bell for you in case I forgot. All right, so moving on. Joe Grubik says, say her name, Salty Island, The Rangers, Toxic Royal Family, Toxic British Media. Say her name, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. The Duchess of Sussex. Oh man, I see you guys are still on cloud nine with this one. All right, I'm loving the energy, and thank you again for the super chat. 1960. What is that? I saw Ford Fiesta. I wanted in on that. I think Ford Fiesta is broken down on a dirt road somewhere, weeping. Well, I mean, she's gotten the title that she's always wanted, right? But I promise you, I'm not going to talk crazy like any of those people have spoken to Megan. But with Ford Fiesta, I have a very, very sour, bitter taste in my mouth. That scowl at that funeral, I will never forget that. And if I'm ever in a public place and I see her, I am going to admonish her with my stare. I promise you. I am going to totally admonish her. I'm going to give her like the highest level of disapproval and shade possible if I ever see her. If I don't just simply turn my back to her. But what an awful, nasty, negative person. What an awful person to do something like that. I mean, it's like in my mind's eye, I can still see it. And I'm just thinking to myself, for what? For what? What is the point of that? And if anything, you barely in the family yourself. You don't have a right to try to throw that shade at somebody, given the things that you have done deliberately to the family. That you would want to stand there and try to be all high and mighty. Oh, don't even get me started with her. I mean to tell you that big sloppy mess and them big oversized kitchen curtain, shower curtain dresses that she wear, looking like some kind of home economic class project. Remember home ec class when they teach you how to sew? I could just picture her up all night. Not even a power sewing machine, one of them old fashioned ones with the wooden pedal where you just sit there and rock back and forth and push down on that pedal. I mean, it looks like some kind, it's a cross between a scientific project and a fashion attempt. I mean, just sloppy looking. It wouldn't be hard to look at her and say, oh, that's someone's mother. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is somebody who looked like somebody's mother when she was in high school. You know, you always have that kind of person that always looked like somebody's mama. That's her. Big sloppy wearing them gaucho looking pants and and got the nerves to stand there. See, let me stop. Let me stop. Got the nerves to stand there and try to stare down somebody. Who do you think you are? The woman who hopped on a plane and came all the way to New York, and it barely got noticed by the people in the room, let alone any of the royalists, barely noticed. And then what's his name? Richard Fitzsimmons. He had the nerves to try to say how hard she works and what an asset she is to the royal family. Well, you could skip the set. You could skip the set. I know, you think she's an asset, but I think what a skip the set part. Uh, she is to the royal family. What a vile, vicious, nasty, negative, pompous, arrogant person. All them trips back and forth to church with the Queen, and she still didn't get the title of Duchess of Edinburgh. And then to show you what they think of having her in the family, they don't even get to pass the title on to their child. I mean, after um, Uncle Pennywise is gone, the title is gone. I will never, ever forget the way she was standing up there looking like she done lost her mind. It's a good thing I wasn't there because I'm telling you, I'd have freestyled on her. I would have gave her a piece of my mind. Yep, that was just uncalled for. Uncalled for. I mean, she knew when to do it. She knew where to do it. And you guys remember, I told you the day before, when they were talking about the plans for the funeral, I said, "Oh my God, Meghan gonna end up in the car with her because if all the guys are walking, then that means that um, Camilla and her co-conspirator would be in the same car, and then of course that leaves Ford Fiesta and Meghan. I mean, I just did the math, and I just knew. And then there it was the next day. You see that even how could you put on a black dress and look so frumpy? Even wearing black, the most forgiving article of apparel that anyone owns, and she even made that look sloppy and frumpy. Oh God. I mean, she makes my behind draw up. I cannot stand her. Big wannabe coming to the family like some kind of big shot. And then of course when she got there, she had her stuff in bin liners because she was penniless. She come in there just as broke as she could be. Business had collapsed. She had all kind of nasty newspaper articles. Make my nose run. Okay. Uh, okay, you know what? I'm so far behind. I need to scroll. I didn't mean to drift off into that. Hey, Charlotte. Um, but every time I think of that face, I'm telling you, every time I think of the way she's sitting up there scowling and frothing at the mouth like she can't control, looking like hold me back. That just goes to show how petty and low life she is. You at a funeral, and here the one person in the family that anybody remembers, because a lot of people don't even know that Ford Fiesta's husband exists. People don't know the Queen had four children. People didn't know about her non-binary husband with his maxi coat dragging the ground. People didn't even know about him. She probably didn't. She was like, "Who? Really? Oh." She got a lot of nerves. A lot of nerves. I promise you, I'll never forget that. I won't forgive or forget. Uh, Teresa McDougal says, Queen, Philip, I'm coming home now. Meghan and Harry has got the what is that? The ping pong balls. Thank you for that, Teresa McDougal. Thank you for breaking me out of this because I would tell you I would still be at it. Okay, let me get back into character here. Yes, thank you, Nighty Night. I did get that off my chest. I just the nerves of it. The nerves of it. Hi, Big Mama. The only reason Charles gave them that title was because he needs workers. If Harry and Meghan was there, they wouldn't have got them. Hence the scowl. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's the only reason because Charles did not mean to have them do any work. He wanted to limit all of the duty to himself, his emotional support, Camilla, and his children and grandchildren. That's where he wanted to limit that work. And then, of course, when William gets on the throne, oh boy, William is going to be a disaster. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. William is going to be a disaster. It's going to be fun to watch it. I mean, at least, Charles does some really stupid stuff, but at the very least, I would say that Charles is at least smart, right? He is too reactive. I think he let people coerce him into doing stupid things. But William is he's not that bright. He's not that bright, and he thinks he's going to get by. If William really had any kind of drive or ambition, we wouldn't still be looking at him as having only ever had the earth flop. And even that has just been a handful of occasions. He doesn't directly do anything with it. Hi, VS Speaks Royally. What's that? You missed this, but Ford Escape, remember, was promoted from Escort. That's right. She's the Ford Escape now. Still a four-cylinder, but yeah, she. Oh man, thank you for that. Yeah, she's still a four-cylinder though. She still hasn't, even gone to a V6. She's still a four-cylinder. All right. So one of the squaddies posted this, and I love it. With the friendship, you can see Misa and Harriman. For justice, well, I think William and a few other people are getting their comeuppance. And why am I doing this counterclockwise? You have the career, yes, and then of course the love of her life, Harry. So you got all of those things combined, and that is a well balanced, well proportioned life. The love of your family, a career that is fulfilling. You get to kind of watch some of the people that have been hostile towards you gnashing their teeth all night. And of course, you could always depend on your friends, those friends that help to carry you through. So, yeah, thank you, whoever put this together. I thought it was amazing. And so that is why I'm sharing it because I love it. All right, so there you have. Oh, I couldn't wait to talk about this. Queen's former right hand woman, Angela Kelly, has been cut off by King Charles and kicked out of her grace and favor Windsor estate home, and her work mobile has been disconnected. They cut off her celly. Boy, they don't play, do they? They cut off her cell phone, y'all. They yanked the plug on her. They merely just deleted her account from the royal phone bill. And if that's not enough, that little nasty patch of land behind her cottage, well, somebody else is going to be enjoying that because she's not there anymore. At least she's leaving. And over here, Queen's best friend, Angela Kelly, cut off by King Charles. Uh, Queen Elizabeth's former right hand woman, Angela Kelly, has been cut off by King and booted out of her grace and favor home in the shadow of Windsor Castle. Mail Online can reveal today. Miss Kelly, the late Queen's dresser and confidant for more than 20 years, is being forced to move out from her Berkshire house, she has publicly confirmed. Not only is she having to vacate the modest semi detached cottage on the Windsor estate, she revealed that her work issue mobile phone has been cut off. Oh, so she's the one who said they cut off my mobile phone. Wow. Wow. So, but you know what, guys? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And this is the best evidence of that. There is Angela Kelly sitting right up there up front, that is, at a fashion show next to Anna Wintour, and there's the Queen. There they are, all of them enjoying this fashion show. And who would have known, looking at this photo, that in just a few years she would have been done and dusted as far as the royal family is concerned. And I am absolutely delighted. I am here for it. So here's a little conversation. It's kind of hard for me to follow, but I'll do my best. I hope you can get it better than I can. Respectfully, Pinky, the only person Angela is responsible to is the Queen. William has absolutely no say in her dealings whatsoever. Now, of course, this is coming from Victoria Alberter. Um, why would he? The truth has been shared. Why now try to add more to it that isn't accurate? And then Dan Wooten chimes in with all due respect, Victoria, the truth is not what's written in the, I don't know what that is, whatever that is. I first broke the story and explained my column last week. And of course, this had to do with Meghan being banned from wearing any of the tiaras, especially the one worn by Diana, right? So afterwards, William and the Queen's dresser, the closest confidant, Angela Kelly, were united in their decision to not loan Meghan items from the royal collection, which included tiaras worn by Diana. Now, you guys that were watching Petal earlier, Petal, I imagine, has pretty much said the same thing I've been saying, is that the Queen was not given proper respect by certain members of the royal household. I'm talking about the staff, and even by people in the family. And so for the Queen to say, do this or do that, it may or may not happen. But if William, the future king, says, don't do this and don't do that, I have been saying for the longest, it's not hard to understand why there were so many problems at Kensington Palace. William is the highest ranking person with an address at Kensington Palace. The only person who rules above him is Charles. And even when the Queen was alive, I don't even think the Queen had been to Kensington Palace in God knows how long. And so William, that was his kingdom, Kensington Palace. And so if he said this or said that, people would tend to listen. And of course, Charles, who seems to be terrified of William's hostility, doesn't seem to put him in his place, at least not directly. I think sometimes they like brief against him and he briefs against his father, but I don't think there's any face to face confrontations. Just a hunch. I have no idea if that's true. So it's not too much of a stretch to assume, but of course, I cannot prove, I'm just alleging that William and his Kensington crew were the reason why there was all of this big confusion about the tiara, is because William was, I'm convinced, was part of that. And along with that, Angela Kelly is probably just a very rotten individual anyway. But however it happened, it was so messy that Harry felt a need to set the record straight himself. That's how big that was. It had got blown all out of proportion. Dan Wooten played his part, of course, the sad little man. But there was a lot of people that was just anti Meghan from the very beginning. And just like in some one of those movies where somebody marries the prince and you have that antagonist who actually loved the prince and had an insider in the house that did everything they could to plot against the royal bride. That is exactly what happened with Meghan. There was a conspiracy among certain people. I am alleging, I don't know any of this for a fact, but I believe that there was a conspiracy among certain people to make that wedding stop. Get Meghan to go to Mexico so that she can talk directly to her father. That didn't work. Point out the fact that the wedding list of guests on her side is small. That didn't work. Don't give her the tiara. That didn't work. And they said as soon as the mention of the Spencer tiara was brought up, then enters the Queen. Now, I don't know if the Queen was, I don't suppose the Queen was being malicious. I don't suppose the Queen was directly involved in the wedding planning. But those that worked with her, and I'm even wondering if the Queen, okay, because I remember one of the stories was that they brought and this never did make sense to me, that they brought a selection of tiaras to Meghan or brought them out to present to her and said, you can choose one. And they swore up and down that she wanted that emerald number, which didn't make sense because that's so flashy. It just did not look like something that Meghan would wear. And so let me see right here. Afterwards, William and the Queen's dresser and closest confidant, Angela Kelly, were united in their decision not to loan Meghan items from the royal collection, which includes tiaras worn by Diana. Let's move on. So there you have the, on the left is the Spencer tiara, which is what Diana wore on her wedding day. I don't believe she ever wore it again after that, not sure. And there on the right side is the, what is it, Queen Alexandra Art Deco style tiara, which is the one that Meghan wore on the wedding day. That looks like Meghan. Anybody who knows Meghan would look at the two of these and say, well, the one on the right looks like Meghan. But if it wasn't offered to her, I'm sure she would have wore the one on the left. And then, of course, there was always the possibility that she may not have worn a tiara at all. I was even thinking before the wedding, I'm like, well, she may not wear one because she doesn't like flashy jewelry. So it turns out she wore that one. And then, of course, to make things as awful as possible, and because she was being bullied by people in the institution and outside the institution, you don't just leave it at that. You have to create a big narrative so that you can ruin the day. That was the whole point. They didn't want Meghan's wedding to be this flawless, happy occasion because that would be in direct competition with the Cambridges. And so everything, they constantly have to try to add some type of taint to it. That's what bullies and abusers do, is they try to find every little thread to pull upon to make everything about you seem like it's just not up to par. That is part of the mind game. Is they want to wear you down and they want to create fatigue for anybody that loves or supports you. So that is Diana with the Spencer tiara. This is Meghan with that other one. Um, Either one would have been great. I think that the one on the right looks better because that looks more like Meghan, but the one on the left side has that connection to Princess Diana. And so chances are someone probably said to the Queen, why don't we? And that probably was an afterthought. That was probably an afterthought after they realized that this withholding the tiaras wasn't working, or they may not have even offered her one up until that point. Since none of that was working, then they decided to get the Queen involved. I am convinced, and that is what happens when you have a lot of people up under you, not just the Queen, but anybody in a position of authority. When Oprah had her studio, it was all about FaceTime and access to Oprah. And the people that work beneath you, they do a lot of conspiring. And by the time they get to you and they say, "Oh, Your Majesty, do you want to offer?" Or, or maybe the Queen just says, "How's things going with the planet?" And then the conspirators kick in. It's such a petty thing. I would hate to believe, and I'm not ruling it out, but I would hate to believe that the Queen had anything to do with that. It just seems too much like exactly what we're saying here is that someone in Kensington Palace, likely, and possibly Angela Kelly, they were the ones who, because even, and then this is why I say I don't think the Queen was involved, because even after they said, offer her the tiara, then why in the world would you not bring it? She must have felt very secure in her position as the Queen's dresser to just be totally obstinate and just not do it. I mean, anybody else would have been fired from their job. But after 20 years in that position, she didn't feel like she had anything to risk. And that's why I keep saying those last years for the Queen, this is just what we know about. This is just what we know about. Yeah, Fatima, absolutely. I love that. Well, this is just what we know about. Okay. So right here, let me just show you how history is repeating. That guy right there, his name is William Talon, Backstairs Billy, infamous Backstairs Billy, betrayed and banished. How jealous courtier took vicious revenge on Backstairs Billy. The Queen Mother's flamboyant favorite servant, but did they steal his little black book of royal secrets? Now, they allege that he had a little book full of royal secrets. I doubt it because he was a big drunkard. He probably wasn't that organized. The Queen Mother's courtier, William Talon, was known as Backstairs Billy, rose from impoverished beginnings to become her confidant and friend. A lot of those people that go to work for the royal family, they are just uneducated. I don't mean dumb, uneducated, but they're young people, easily molded, and they prefer the men to be gay, so that way you're available and don't have to run to be with your family. So William Talon fit right in. He was young, uh, able-bodied, capable, and he was fiercely loyal to the institution. But he also breached protocol and brought young men to Clarence House. Other courtiers took revenge by banishing him from Queen's side, also denied her request that he should be allowed to live at Clarence House for the rest of his life. Does that sound familiar? Breach protocol and denied the opportunity to live on a royal property for the rest of his life. A lot of those people that have been loyal to the royal family, they, even after they retire, they stay there. Like the story of a young man who got a job at the with the royal family, and he saw this woman coming down the hallway with a walking frame, or as we say here in the States, a walker. This old pensioner, barely able to walk, and he wasn't sure where she came from. And he said, "Mom, do you need help?" "Oh no, oh no, 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 I know my way around. Thank you." And then she pulled out a rag and commenced to wiping down the furniture. She was one of the old timers that worked for the royal family that had been given a grace and favor apartment. And that is where she probably lived until she died. And not only with the royal family, but a lot of those country estates, those big families, those dukedoms and such, a lot of them have old people around that are the third, fourth, and fifth generation of the family to have worked there. Let me see, Barry. You can go back to Queen Victoria and how they kicked out her favorite Indian servant as soon as she died. There's a film about their relationship and the racism he faced from white servants. Yeah, what was his name? I know who you're talking about. Yeah, and they kicked him out, and didn't they take back some of the gifts that he received? They burned the letters that he wrote to her, and she wrote. Oh no, yeah, that he wrote to her, and anything she had. They erased him. They literally erased him. Thanks for reminding us about that one. But yeah, they erased him. She requested to be buried with a lock of his hair. um, People said they were lovers. However, when they did an autopsy, they found out that having had all those children had taken had taken a toll on her nether regions. So, um, but that's just part of love of a relationship, isn't it? But yeah. I don't know why that tickles me so bad. But yeah, so that's Backstairs Billy. And this is one of the things. What? I didn't say anything. Oh man. But anyway, uh well, sometimes if you break your arm, you end up wearing a sling. So when you injure your shoulder, they may give you a sling to wear. Okay, yeah, I better move on. All right. So there's Backstairs Billy in his prime. Now there is one person who used to work for the family that has gone on to riches. Of course, that is what's his name? Paul Burrell. Paul Burrell went on to riches. He has been monetizing his time with the family for years and years. Now, Backstairs Billy. Okay, so he was notorious, and you guys, I always say you have to look up this guy because you have to read his story to believe him. But he actually one of his downfalls was poor Princess Margaret. Stroke, cancer, um, legally blind. She had so many things going on. And backstairs Billy, who was constantly drunk, actually brought her out of the gates in front of the cameras, and the queen was livid. Now, you guys know the queen was very careful not to be photographed in a wheelchair. She, no matter what it took, she did not want to be seen in a wheelchair. So when her sister was rolled out the gate of Clarence House in that wheelchair, the queen lost it. And I think it wasn't long after that that backstairs Billy was gone. But there he is, just like Arthur Edwards dancing with his boss, dancing with his boss. So Angela Kelly's time, and of course, there has been a rumor that Angela Kelly is writing a book, right? And they said that's one of the reasons why Charles kicked her out is because she's supposed to be writing a book. And when the Queen's underwear person, she had gave a royal warrant to the woman who used to make her underwear. And that royal warrant is something that you can put outside of your work, and people will know that you have the approval of the royal family, of the queen. So it's nice to have that royal warrant because it can helps to bolster your business. Well, the woman who made garments for the queen, undergarments, wrote a book, and not only did they not allow her to work for the queen anymore, but they also removed her royal warrant. She lost her royal warrant. And the only thing that she had did that was offensive is that she quoted a conversation with the queen. Well, you don't do that. You don't do that. So she lost her royal warrant, and that was the end of that. Oh, what is that? Ladybird says Frogmore Cottage housed a Russian countess of the Windsors who was also a Nazi spy. Frogmore has an interesting history. Huh, I did not know that. Thank you for sharing that. So, right here, you guys, what of William Talon, Backstairs Billy? Well, Backstairs Billy, I don't think he ever wrote the book. I don't think so. But what did happen was he had a lot of information on the royal family and everything. And they told Charles, they say, listen, he does not have a pension. He did not have much money. So he ended up leaving. You see that cottage on the right side? That was his grace and favor right there inside the gates of Clarence House. And that is where he used to take the boys. Now, you guys, before you feel sorry for William Talon, let me tell you something. Allegedly, this guy was a predator. He and his lover, he and his lover, they were not married, but he and his partner, a lot of those young employees of the family that lived out in the country, lived in small towns, they would have this big deal about getting a job for the royal family. And he and his partner would invite those kids or use coercion against those young men to have their way. And the Queen Mother, it is alleged that she knew about it. The Queen Mother was a messy old Karen Walker. You know, I don't want to use the actual name because it's offensive to some people, but she was like a Karen Walker. She aided and abetted that behavior. And she loved Backstairs Billy. He constantly breached protocol with her, but he was fiercely loyal, traveled the world with her. He understood her, she understood him. And of course, there's that famous line from the Queen, who was notorious as a gambler and a drinker. She heard Billy and his partner at the bottom of the staircase gossiping and mumbling, probably trying to figure out who they were going to get next. Well, Lady Bird, I'm not sure that he was like that. I'm not saying that anybody was, it's possible, but I'm just saying that the ones that were like right out of high school that would come there for work would find themselves being chased around the place. And if you did not do as you were told, then you would have to pack your little luggage and go back to your small town and tell your family, who have been bragging to everybody, that you no longer work for the royal family. And so life was really tough for people who said no. Life was really tough for people who said yes. So anyway, the story goes she heard them gossiping and she wanted her drink. And she yelled down the steps, "When you two queens get through gossiping, this queen up here needs her gin and tonic." So, funny line. Like anything else, it takes on a life of its own. She may or may not have said that. I don't know. But that, I'm telling you guys, that is a story right there. That is a story right there. And in this Me Too movement that we live in times, um, something like this would have really cost that family some money. Maybe. Because, like anything else, they bury it. So he ended up leaving that place because he got kicked out and he moved into that apartment building that you see at the bottom. He did not live very long after that. He got really sick, passed out on the pavement, and died at some point thereafter. But they were so afraid that he was going to write a tell all book. That's why they mentioned his little black book of secrets. They were so afraid that he was going to sing like Aretha Franklin. However, I don't think that ever happened. He did not pour any tea. And right there, you can see all of those items that he collected, all the gifts that he received from the Queen Mother and just about anybody who wanted access to her. All of that stuff ended up on the auction block. He had that little apartment chugged with stuff from years. I think he had worked for the royal family for like 50 years. So it's a cautionary tale. And but this is what happens to people. There he was, isolated, lonely, broke, and nearly homeless. Charles had to intervene and set up some kind of a pension for him because he didn't have anything. They had kicked him to the curb. And then, on top of all of that, when the Queen Mother was dying, he wanted to be at her side, right? They banned him. He was not allowed to go to her side. When they were done with him, they were done. And there was no consideration for all he had done for that family. None. And that's the same thing that is going to happen to Angela Kelly. So she could write a book if she wants to, but I tell you what, she has some very powerful enemies if she does that. Oh, yes, me too. I'm here for it, Rosalind. I am here for it. So, speaking of karma, if it isn't the ghost of Victoria's Secret past, if it isn't the ghost of Victoria's Secret past, I'm not even sure I could call that Victoria's Secret, although she does look like some mental patient that just wandered away from an institution. But that is actually what's left of Mia Farrow. A social media mistake. Mia Farrow admitted that she regrets her recent headline making tweet about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I bet you do. Let me see. I shouldn't have tweeted without thinking. The Rosemary's Baby actress 78 exclusively told Us Weekly at the time 100 Gala in New York City on Wednesday, April 26th. I adore them. I was thinking in the moment, I'm sorry, in that moment, about Princess Diana and how much I admire her and how much the one thing she would want would be for her boys to be together, and how perhaps Harry may have been saying a lot of things that will make that more difficult. Girls, stop reading those tabloids. Stop reading those tabloids. I mean, she literally looks like she just kicked open a coffin and started wandering down the street. And somebody asked her about Meghan and Harry, and she looked over their shoulder at a newspaper at one of the British tabloids, and then she said whatever she said. Go back to sleep, girl. Go back to sleep. Mia Farrow explains why she deleted conversation, no, controversial, that is, Harry and Meghan tweet, because it was dumb. Okay, some in our press in the royal family never wanted an American. Stark left. They hoped Meghan would also leave, but QE2 gave Harry permission to wed. Evil powers disrespecting QE2 still don't want Meghan to be a royal. That's true, God's child. They are trying to find some way to strip her of that title, to remove her from the family. Um, and I suppose until that stuff came out from court, they would have probably have tried to start working on Harry again. But it's a fool's errand, and they are just they know not how stupid what they do is. But thank you so much, God's child, and thank you for the super chat. Okay. Yeah. I'm telling you, I feel like I'm looking at a ghost from the Titanic. You know how they said some of the people in the Titanic were in their sleeping gowns? They were in their nightgowns when they heard the alarm, and they just put on their life jackets and went up on the deck. That's what I'm getting right here. I feel like I'm looking at the ghost of the Titanic. Got a bad case of foot and mouth disease. It's amazing how so many people know what Diana wanted. It's amazing how many people know what she was thinking. They know too much. Okay. All right. So right here, if you guys recall, William, and I remember I said it when I saw it. I said he is going to go, because remember they didn't talk about it at first, but William was seen being followed by a photographer wearing the big issue vest and all that kind of stuff. I said William is just doing that for his 40th birthday. They ain't gonna ever see him down there again. Well, it turns out that I believe for that area that the big issue no longer exists. In other news, I'd like to thank the big issue for using them as PR stunt. And by the way, this is a parody account for William, not his real account. For a PR stunt last year, since oh wait a minute, I don't know what that says there. Okay, since I had no legacy to show for my 40th, next month they will be closing down while I continue to fool people I care about the homeless. Well, you know what the problem is? If you're going to try to keep him interested in the homeless people, you know you have to have a black man for him to sleep rough with. If he's sleeping rough with a black man, then of course he'll be more interested. But absent a black man to sleep rough with, of course he don't care. Of course he doesn't care. You have to give him a certain level of respect, like providing him with someone to sleep rough with. That way they can get their photo ops and everything. But if he's not sleeping rough with a black man, then it just doesn't make sense. So, yeah, Close them down. He doesn't care. British public support for monarchy at historic low, polls reveal. Support for the royals is falling with your help. We, let me see. We can abolish the monarchy. Well, as you know, the abolish the monarchy people are really starting to get some traction. They have become noticed. The American media has been covering them. And who's ever done their branding with that yellow signage and yellow t-shirts, that was a stroke of genius. It really, really stands out. Um, yeah, and I think a lot of people have something yellow in their wardrobe that they could add to it. So yeah, that is a stroke of genius. Now, I'm not exactly saying that, you know, they are going to make a huge difference. Hey, Mario, I'm not saying they're going to make a huge difference, but I am saying that they are making an impact. The monarchy is not likely to go anywhere anytime soon, but the idea that they may continue to have as much support that they have and that they will still have a chance to blow through hundreds of millions of dollars over the years, that may become a thing of the past. I think it was a big mistake for them to say Charles had like 600 something million pounds, only for the Guardian to come behind them and say, no, it's more like 1.8 billion. And I don't think that that's enough. The value of what he has in terms of assets probably exceeds, I'm going to say, $3 billion, because they have antiques and works of art that date back. And I'm not even talking about the Crown estate property. I'm talking about things that is personally owned by the royal family. So the idea that you can really um, put a value on how much wealth they have, that is rather difficult. But I would dare to say that he is still one of the wealthiest men in the country, and maybe one of the, if not the wealthiest sovereign or monarch or royal in all of Europe. I know they love to say Liechtenstein, and trust me, they have a lot of assets. Not everything they have is in Liechtenstein. They have a lot of property. They have a lot of portfolio um, property in Austria, amongst other places. So they are bringing in the cheddar. But Charles, the Windsors, yeah, 3 billion is modest. I think so too, B. Brown. Okay, so got a soundbite for you. Got a soundbite. Now, as you know, Hugh Grant also has his axe to grind with the media, accusing them of things like burglary and wiretapping, all that kind of stuff. So, if I may, let me go ahead and play that. It is a soundbite not only from Hugh Grant, but there's also a soundbite from our dear Harry.
In the British press at that time, and you did nothing. But I will give you this. I'll give you this credit. It's not really credit, but it's like semi-sympathy. I think you were frightened of falling out with, for instance, Murdoch, because at that time you still probably thought he could get you elected. But more importantly, this is the business. There's an individual threat going on. MPs were terrified individually of taking on any of the tabloids, but especially anything from News International. I mean, the prime example being when there was the culture and whatever it is select committee in 2003. No, it was the later one, I think, 2006-9, when they tried to bring Rebecca Brooks in to see them, and she refused, and they asked again, and she refused, and they kept asking, and finally the message got through to the select committee: if you make me come, I will destroy your personal lives. And they backed off, terrified. And that's what MPs have been. They've been, on an individual basis, absolutely terrified. It was, after all, Chris Bryant at that same select committee who asked Rebecca Brooks the question, have you ever paid the police? and when she made her terrible gaffe and said yes. And 6 months later, what happens? Chris Bryant is outed by The Sun as being gay. You know, this is a protection racket, and it should not be called anything else. And these are supposed to be our lawmakers. Okay.
I also am acutely aware of where my family stand and how scared they are of the tabloids turning.
Or what? They're the royal family.
Yes, but it's there is this invisible what's termed or referred to as the invisible contract behind closed doors between the institution and the tabloids, UK tabloids.
How so?
Well, it is to simplify it. It's a case of if you as a family member are willing to wine, dine, and give full access to these reporters, then you will get better press.
What do you care about better press if you're royal?
I think everyone needs to have some compassion for them in that situation, right? There is a level of control by fear that has existed for generations. I mean, generation
But who's
after
controlling?
generation.
So that was Hugh Grant speaking at a forum. A lot of you guys have heard that one before. That was from some time ago. And then that was Harry speaking to Oprah about the invisible contract. And to call it a protection racket, the idea of racketeering, I used to always wonder, what does racketeering mean? But it's a protection racket. When you open up a shop and all of a sudden you have this big burly guy or two or three that comes into your place and they say, oh, this is a nice shop that you have. It'd be a shame to see it get burned down. It'd be a shame to see it get looted, or it'd be a shame if something happens to you or your family, and they will offer you protection. But if you want their protection, you got to pay them. And if you don't pay them, all of these things that they mention may happen or worse. And it's the same way that the tabloids work. It's a protection racket. We will protect your reputation, but you got to do what we say. You have to play the game. We will protect you. So that's what they mean by racketeering. It's when you use the threat as a matter of control over a person, and if they don't play the game, then bad things happen. So that's what they mean by racketeering. It's a protection racket. What? Let me see here. Oh my God, did you all see that tweet by Karen Ames? No, I did not, Legs. And you know what happens when I drift over to see stuff? I end up getting lost and I forget that I'm on the internet. So, but because I don't want to be rude, I have to check it out for myself. Let me see here. Let me see. Oh, that must be an old one. Is it from like 2 hours ago? Oh, no. Okay. Dear WME and Ari Emanuel, we understand that you have a new client, Meghan Markle, and want her to make you money. That's what it says. And you want her to make you money. Please break this agreement with her. We lost our late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II and are still grieving as a country. It is imperative that our monarchy does well and that Prince William and Catherine takes the throne one day in a smooth manner. It has been attacked so much. Sorry, it has been attacked so much. I don't see how it happens when Harry is suing newspapers and your client is trying to overshadow the coronation with her new hair and announcements. Our countries have historically been friends. Please don't spoil that. Signed, that person. Lord have mercy. Oh man, this really is like Ripley's Believe It or Not. The strange, the bizarre, and the unexpected. Didn't see that one coming. Didn't see that one coming. Uh, I'll share it with you guys tomorrow. But that was it. That was the tweet. Thank you so much, Legs. That was worth it. That was definitely worth it. How bizarre. Boy, boy, boy. And to blame her hair. Who blames a person's hair? Meghan's hair is so powerful that it will unseat a holy anointed sovereign. Her hair is powerful enough to unseat a holy anointed sovereign? Really? Oh, my goodness. I think Whitley said it best on, remember on Different World, when Whitley said, "Dear God, still waters run deep." And that's exactly how it is. Still waters run deep. Oh, man. How about that? Hey, Charlotte. I see Charlotte is here. Let me see. Oh, Joan Garcia says, okay. Baron, so despite haters, Harry and Meghan can sing, "Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move." Yes. Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove. We got it. Yes, Joan Garcia. They are totally justified in singing that song. And thank you so much for reminding us of that old school hit. And thank you for being on Royal Sussex. Okay. So, anyway, that was a little soundbite from Hugh Grant and Prince Harry. I tell you what, Hugh Grant still looks good, though. He still looks good. Time has been very kind to him. All right. Lynn E says, joined 1 hour late. How is Lady Church Nellie? I have not heard anything from Church Nellie. However, I know she was in the live chat on a couple of channels. So she is able to chat, or she at least, when she's able to, she will chat. So that's a good sign. I would say that's a very good sign. Church Nellie may be listening right now. So I'm going to say improved, I hope. But thank you so much for asking. And thank you so much for being here today. Happy Friday to you. So right here is a cartoon that I think I got this from, I forgot where I got it from. Look, Mom, I found another golden ticket. Excellent, Charlie. Popping in the trolley with the others. Well, the reference is a pop culture reference. It's referencing a movie which is based on a novel that I love so much with the actor Gene Wilder. And that was, of course, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. No, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? Well, anyway, in the movie, all of the children who were able to buy a candy that had a golden ticket was able to spend the day at Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. Well, for this case, I decided to hijack it and put, "Tell me more about your pulled pork sandwich." But yes, that is a pop culture reference to that movie, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And if you were able to acquire the golden ticket, you would have a day at the Chocolate Factory and access to all the suites you wanted, you and your family, you and one guest. So, but for this poor family, the golden tickets are the reduced sale prices on the back of the products. I think it is a commentary about the sign of the times. Thank you so much, Dolores Thomas. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and by the way, you guys, I forgot to mention this, but thank you to all of the, I think it was 280 something or other, but there's a get well card on the community tab. So if you go back to the Royal Sussex homepage and look at the top of the channel, you can see that community tab. And just click on that and scroll down to Church Nelly's Get Well card, and you can leave a message for their with a picture of Nacho. That way you can send your thoughts and wishes and prayers to Church Nelly. So thank you guys. It's way more people than I even thought would. Let me see how many people have. Let me see. I think it was almost 300. It may be 300 now. Oh, wow. 290 comments on there. So thank you, everybody. See, what a great community. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. What is that? Let me see here. Thank you, team, for the condolences for me and my family. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, let me see. Sorry for the loss of your mom. Oh my God, I'm so sad to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Oh man. Well, we're here for you. We are here for you for sure. And I tell you, for anybody who's ever suffered a loss, take it as it comes. Do what you will of the day. Try to keep yourself busy. That's always helpful. And yeah, it never gets normal. That's for sure. But this is like something that so many people have experienced as we get older. So yeah, that's oh man, thank you for sharing that though. Okay, Perlina says, I'm so sorry for your loss. Condolences. Family praying for comfort and strength. God bless you. Okay. Oh, April May, that's sweet. We love you. Get better. Absolutely. And you know what, guys? I was looking at the memberships. Church Nelly, and I think one other person. I think Church Nelly was the first to have a membership. Yeah, I think Church Nelly was first. Like going back 20 months. Is that right? No, it can't be 20. Maybe. But yeah, Church Nelly was like the first membership. So that was interesting. John Youngblood says, it's hard when you lose your mom. I'm so sorry to hear of your loss. Very deep loss. Yes, 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 yes. They say you never grow up until you've lost your parents. Okay. Jose Williams says, Angela Kelly must have some good stories to tell. Oh, yeah. She better not, though. But she may, and maybe she's already inked a deal that she can't get out of, and maybe that's factoring into her decision or Charles's decision to kick her out. And I guess even the threat of a book is enough to get a person removed. Yes, one day at a time. Very wise words, Caroline. Very wise words. One day at a time. And it's like when you do have a loss, some people want to things to be normal as soon as possible, but it's never a normal, it's a new normal. It's a new normal. There's never a normal for someone so close to you. There's a new normal. I'm just going to leave that right there for a second. I'm going to leave that right there for a second. Take it in. Take it all in. Embrace it. Hold it. Now put it back down because it's heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. The Daily Telegraph, my place in Coronation proves King embraces diversity. It is unimpeachable proof. It's evidence. It is quite evident that our king embraces diversity. That's proof right there. Proof solid. You don't get more evidence than this right here. You have to have a distinguished actress from the theater and motion pictures and television shows and just about anything else that requires a Black woman for that particular role. I'm sure there's been some blind casting, but probably not a lot. So in most movies, if there's a certain type of cast in most movies, what do they usually do with the Black character? Comic relief, help the white people sort out all their problems. I don't know, be the one to sing or dance or something like that. They always have a certain stereotypical role for us, right? So I'm not saying that that's her story, but I'm just saying that if she has managed to avoid that, then she's doing good. But okay, so she says, actually, Dr. Shola says her place in Coronation does not, oh gosh, what is that? Does not prove King Charles embraces diversity or that he's an ally in the fight against racial injustice or taking meaningful steps to eradicate white supremacy he benefits from. This is performative for his benefit. I do like Baroness Fiona Benjamin. I think Floella Benjamin. I do like her. But all right, Dr. Shola, I'm sure you do. I'm sure a lot of people do. And I'm sure she's a likable person. But she also serves a greater purpose for Charles and the rest of the clan. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call him clan. Charles and the rest of the family. She serves a greater purpose because you guys, I've had my thoughts about this for a while with the royal family. Having a semblance of diversity helps the institution because a lot of young people, they have pointed out white supremacy as a reason to reject the royal family. And so they're not doing this for you and for me or any Black Brit my age, right? They're not doing it for us older people. They're doing it for the young people. It's not for Black people. It's for young people because young people are mostly inclusive, right? Yes, there's a lot of young people that are racist and such, but for the most part, they're very inclusive. And they get racism. They get the idea of how the system has been stacked up against masses of people, not even necessarily Black. And so, in order to make the royal family more attractive, yes, her presence does help with all age groups in the Black community, all age groups, because it seems like they're fair and balanced. But the truth is, it is only window dressing. It is performative art. There is no there, because this is the same family that has yet to apologize to what's her name? Oh gosh, I can never remember her name. But the one that was confronted at that party, Camilla, who hosted the women for that event, should have been the one to apologize. Nagazi, what is her name? Nagazi's, oh man. Anyway, Camilla should have apologized. Not even the perpetrator, Susan Hussey. Camilla, who hosted the event. I know enough about manners to know that Camilla was the one who needed to apologize. Nagazi, right? What is her first name? I forget her first name. Or is that her first? No, that's her last name. But Camilla is the one who. And when you host a party, you are Falani Nagazi. Thank you. You are the one that are supposed to make people feel safe. Oh man, what is it? Lanya Richardson. You know, it's kind of funny. I looked at that just as I says the one who's supposed to make her feel safe, because I promise you, whoever the mortician was that did her makeup did not keep her safe. As a matter of fact, they have turned her into an object of ridicule. Uh, she likes it over the top, though. She kind of goes for that theatrical look. After all, she's an actor, so she likes to look a bit theatrical. But thank you so much for your comment. Talk about perfect timing. Woo! Okay, so once again, we are very much not a racist family. Um, so the Telegraph, I think, is it the Telegraph? The Telegraph is going all out with this campaign of we're not racist and we're inclusive. This is part of the Telegraph. The Telegraph put together this lovely, lovely illustration photo. Now, I know that the woman in the red tunic, that is the Queen's chaplain, right? That was the Queen's chaplain. And of course, that's Floella. I don't know who the heck that is on the horse, but if you ask me, if you got three Black people up front and you have someone looking like a police officer in the back, then that person on the horse is probably the popo to make sure that they don't take. You see there? Even in an image like this, we still got the police looking over our shoulders. So even though they want us to believe that we have come so far, then why you got the police looking at them, huh? Why you got the popo? Why is the police there, huh? I thought y'all trust Floella. She's one of the good ones, right? But instead, you invite her to take a picture and promote.
Police! 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 Help! Police! Help! Police! Help! Help! Police! Help!
So yeah, I get everything going on. The person with the Order of the Garter, I forgot who she is, but I know that's the Queen's chaplain. I know she's a distinguished actress, but who is the person on the horse? That is so weird. Do y'all know who she's supposed to be? Yes, also the white cop. Who is it supposed to be? I get most of what's going on in this image. And notice, just like in some of those ancient paintings, you notice that they have the Black people lower down. of lower rank, lower. And you have that, because in all those old ancient images of black people, you notice that the black people in the photo can never. you know, the black people, we can never be the highest image on the canvas. We always have to be down low, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Sweet low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I look down the river of joy. Oh man. So, okay, I get everything that's going on in this photo, but I don't get the cop. I don't get the cop. But okay. Um, is she gonna be at the coronation to watch them? Because I guess all three of these people are invited to go to the coronation. So weird, very weird, right? Woo! Okay, okay, okay. I know one of them catches. Uh-huh. So right here, yep, that's her. Right here, you can see Floella. You can see Floella making William very uncomfortable. And William is trying to look at it. See, he got his other hand on her to make sure that she doesn't pull him in for a kiss. That's a trick that politicians use to make sure you don't get so cozy. When you reach out to them, they restrain you with the other hand. So, as you can see, just in case she had any ideas of, planting a big sloppy kiss on him, he can make sure that she's restrained enough where she can't reach him. But as you know, the camera never lies. But let us remember that Floella, of is it Floella? She was at that event to mark the unveiling of a sculpture to celebrate the contribution, I guess the contribution of the oh gosh, what is it? The Windrush people, the Windrush. Anyway, so many black journalists were excluded from the Windrush Day event because nobility, Prince William, attend that. If more black journalists had been permitted to attend, the coverage could have been different, balanced, and truly evaluative. But they did not invite the black journalists. They kept the royal rota there. They would not allow the black journalists to be a part of that moment. Absolutely sickening and cringeworthy, William continues gaslighting and virtue signaling will be his downfall. William and Kate refuse to reveal staff ethnicity figures despite Queen doing so. Lex says he has that glass to take a sip. Oh, yes, yes. In case she tried to plant them lips on him, he could lift that glass up like, hold on. Very, very good eye, Legs. Exactly. So restrain her with one hand, and if still she's able to reach in, you lift that glass up. Perfect. I love it. See, I told you, Legs, you always have a way of seeing certain things. Thank you so much for that. Let me see here. Oh, that was for Black Queen. Carol Lund, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Friday to you. Swing low, sweet chariot. Okay, Windrush statue is offensive. No wonder people are boycotting it. Nadine White says, it's bizarre at best. that the government has sponsored this monument while continuing to deny the existence of institutional racism. Well, as I understood it, because, you know, uh, obviously I am in the US, um, but the Windrush people, as I understood it, were invited. I mean, they had campaigns, they had recruitment people that went to Africa and the Caribbean and invited people to come back to the UK, or not come back, but to come to the UK and help rebuild after the war, which is the same thing that happened in Germany, where they had a lot of people from Turkey come to Germany to help them rebuild. It's an old story, a very old story. And not just from Turkey, they also had some black people that went to Germany to help them rebuild. I actually saw a documentary about that. And in all cases, they weren't really welcomed by the native born people. So, at some point, was it the Tories decided that they wanted to purge the island of a lot of brown people, or black and brown people, by saying that they were not actually recorded of as citizens of the United Kingdom. So if they applied for a passport, they were refused. And in some cases, there were people who had actually traveled on holiday and couldn't return to the UK because they were deemed not a citizen, not a subject of Her Majesty. And even worse, they even had flights to evacuate them from the island and take them back to a place where they may not even know anybody, or maybe all of their ancestors are lost or dead or something. But yeah, that's the thing. And so to acknowledge this travesty of justice, not along with, well, actually, they're not acknowledging the travesty of justice. They're trying to acknowledge the contribution of the Windrush people. Windrush is actually the ship that brought a lot of people over. Um, to acknowledge their contribution to the society, they erected these statues. Oh, and by the way, this is that occasion when William gave his "I Had a Scheme" speech. Remember the "I Had a Scheme"? That old William Cambridge, he don't like injustice. He don't like black people. He think there's too many in Africa. That old William Cambridge. He don't like black folks. Actually, I don't know how he feels about black people. However, his track record on race is pretty pathetic. Not only uh, because of his abstinence, his sister-in-law was treated very poorly while she was in the United Kingdom. But he's also made comments about how black people in Africa were putting too much pressure on the ecosystem. He was, in other words, there's too many black people in Africa, and so a lot of people pushed back against that comment, and they reminded him that Africa actually, when it comes per capita, per square mile or square meter, has fewer people than most continents. Only like North and South America ranks, and of course Antarctica ranks lower impact. But Africa, considering the size and the population, there's a lot of pristine, untouched habitat in Africa, and so the only problem there seems to be is outside investments causing damage to the environment in Africa, not the people. But as usual, William got it wrong. The person who has a degree in geography doesn't know the difference, certainly doesn't know the statistics, but He tried. And so that's why I refer to this as the I had a scheme speech. Loosely based, absolutely not based at all, on Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream speech. Hello, Ivy here. Hey, Ivy. Ivy of Sussex Global, UK. That old William Cambridge, he don't like injustice. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Luther Cambridge, he don't like injustice. And of course, let us not forget his wife, Coretta Scott King, because she's always keen to do something. Coretta Scott King. She's keening Kate. Coretta Scott King and Martin Luther Cambridge. Oh man. Hey, Lauren Brown is here. Hey, Lauren. So right here it says the Windrush statue is offensive. Um, no wonder people are boycotting. Prince William attends the unveiling, though not many Black journalists were invited. That means there were none. And also, the Windrush statue is offensive. No wonder. Oh, same thing. Sorry about that. I didn't know it was the same one. Monument to the Windrush generation at Waterloo Station. Yeah, so that is a rail station, of course. Is that the one that goes to? It's St. Pancras. That's the one that goes to Paris, right? Dorothy Ross, thank you so much for the hugs. And thank you for being here. And also thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Yes, Lady Bird, it probably took everything he had not to hop on that train and run off to Poland so he can grab himself another pulled pork sandwich. Some people will travel to Poland but that would never happen because for him, if it's not a private helicopter or a private jet, he just doesn't do it. You have to burn as many fossil fuels and distribute the most carbon emissions for it to really be a trip worthy of Martin Luther Cambridge. So the Cambridges, well, it's hard for me to say the Welleses. I hate saying that. But William and Kate were out distributing pizza and climbing rocks or descending down from a rock or something like that. But anyway, there's Kate giving another one of those loving glances to her dear husband, William, the Prince of Wales, and that's the Princess of Wales. So I have to make sure that I use their proper titles. It would be unfair to not do that. Disappointed in Floella Word's cover for Charles, but she has a right to be at the coronation as she's in the House of Lords. Floella was part of our childhood in the 1970s. Yeah, that is fair. Thank you for reminding us about that. I mean, yeah, she's a distinguished actor, and she's in the House of Lords, and she's earned her position there. It doesn't really translate into helping a lot of other people that could identify with her, but we have some Black Republicans that seem to be so far removed from the community that we just ignore them, like Tim Scott and Justice Thomas and a few other people. They are so far removed. I mean, there's so few Black people that have been in the United States Senate since Reconstruction. So that's that post Civil War era. At that time, there were quite a few Black people elected to higher office. But then once Jim Crow kicked in, then slowly and methodically, Black people were put back into not slavery, but in some places something very identical to it. And in terms of the educated and elites, they were pretty much stripped of their power. They were stripped of their power, subject to kangaroo courts and expulsion, and in some cases, they were killed. So, Yeah, but we have to show her proper respect, and that's why I think William was wrong to not allow her to just lean in and give him a big, wet, sloppy kiss. You know, give her the same respect that you give everybody else. That's what I say. Uh, so, yet another loving, adorable glance. Notice I'm not being shady. Once again, Kate and William have proved how in love they are and how indeed the magic of their relationship has not disappeared. They are just as close as they've ever been. As a matter of fact, I'm almost embarrassed to look at them because I feel like they may just, try to go at it right there in front of everybody because they are so connected, They have this spiritual connection that seems to embarrass everyone around them. So, see, I know how to be nice, I know how to be fair and just. And of course, there's Kate grinning and grinning and grinning and thinking about life and grinning some more. And wasn't that nice of them to go to the pizza truck and grab a stack of pizzas? And what's even nicer is that William so much believes in his wife and believes that women are equal and that they have this strong partnership. Whereas Kate has got like 20 boxes of pizza. William has what, two, three of them? See? That just goes to show how much he believes in her. So instead of him doing the obvious and taking the heavier load, he decided to let Kate carry it. And of course, they're just like any other middle class couple. There's nothing different about them or you or me. They're just like all of us. I mean, how many people have gone to a pizza truck and have a bunch of kids and families restrained behind barriers? That happens to me all the time. Every time I go to a pizza truck, I find myself able to freely come and go because the whole crowd is restrained behind the barrier. That is so natural and authentic. It just blows my mind. It literally blows my mind. Now, as you know, from time to time, here at Royal Sussex, we like to reach out to the Princess of Wales for comment.
Obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So yeah, I do.
So, true story. I don't have the actual slide, but one of the things that they have been gushing about in the Daily Mail is that Kate actually took time to mention to someone in the crowd when they asked her about Princess Diana, she managed to say a few words. And I do mean a few words. See, this is the new Baron. I'm no longer going to just go after the Cambridges or the Waleses or whoever the heck they are. I am going to be kinder and gentler henceforth because, as you know, the Duchess of Sussex has signed on to a big talent agency. Business partnerships or and stuff like that are coming down the pike. And I just want to be worthy of supporting the Sussexes. So no more of that, that sarcasm from me. Coffee Bar, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And as a matter of fact, I don't have the words to thank you. So I'm going to let the Princess of Wales do the talking for me.
Obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So yeah, I do.
Yes, that's right. She does. She did, and she does, and she'll continue to. So we can always count on that. So thank you again, Coffee Bar, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. And so there's William struggling with his 5 boxes, and poor Kate with what is it, 7, 8, 9, 10 boxes. Yes, her knees are buckling, but then again, they always look like that. So they always look like that. So that's not really a tell. And then right here. So, with all this talk about Meghan's hair, with all this discussion about Meghan's hair, I think someone in the tabloid war room decided that they needed to dispatch some columns, writers or columnists or whatever, to make sure that they bring proper attention to Kate's hair. And we don't want to ignore Kate's hair because, after all, that is her crowning achievement. There's many days when Kate does absolutely nothing, and I do mean nothing. Just sits there and just sits there and don't do nothing. So when people get something right, you have to celebrate it. So yes, Kate's hair always look amazing. Her hair and whose ever else hair is there. So just how does Princess of Wales keep her hair so long and natural? Now at that point, that's when I almost spit up my coffee. That's that's easy, writes Kate's hairdresser Richard Ward. It's the BBBD, the big bouncy blow dry, and all her royal rivals know the secret too. So the column had a bunch of other princesses and the Queen of Spain and such. All of them were mentioned as well. And even Meghan. And of course, there was nothing disparaging about Meghan. So I'm not going to say anything disparaging about Kate. But if you want to know what the secret is, tracks, weave, extensions, that's the secret. There is no way that that is Kate's hair. No way. The big bouncy blow dry is everywhere this spring, an iconic look that Kate Middleton has been effortlessly pulling off for years. It's a sophisticated hairstyle that other royals have adopted too. Okay. Number one, I refuse to say that Kate is a trendsetter for anybody. Unless you want to look like somebody's grandmama, she's not a trendsetter. Let's get that straight. So I included a screenshot of the article, but then these photos, those are some of those photos that I keep when I need to tell a story, like this one right here. One of the secrets to her hair is helicopters. If every time you need to go somewhere, you walk across a grassy field with the wind and the blades of the helicopter blowing everything, of course you're going to have big bouncy hair. So if you have extensions and every place you go, like if you need to run to Tesco's, they gas up the helicopter. If that's the way you live, then you'd have that big hair too. So yeah, that's the secret. Hair extensions and helicopters. Why is this so complicated? Why complicate everything with all that other bouncy, blow dry, this and that? Just say what it is, man. Helicopters and hair extensions. It's not the BBBB or BBBD. It's the hair extensions and helicopters. So there you go. God's Child says, struggle with this. I'm a direct descendant of existing African royalty. I would be hypocritical. Yeah, it would be hypocritical for me to say get rid of the British royal family, but William must get a job like Harry. It's unjust taking from struggling taxpayers. Well, God's Child, they say it's value for money. They say that it's worth 100 million pounds when we all know it's actually 350 million pounds. They say that it's worth 350 million pounds to watch Kate walk out to a helicopter with her hair standing up, or William to grimace and make them weird faces. And well, actually, Will and Kate both got them weird facial tics. But but it's value for money. And then they do all of their charity work. They help people raise money, which is exactly what happens before they never show up again and the thing goes out of business. They also allowed one of the charities, what was it? The one where people could text for mental health emergencies. They allowed them to give out people's personal information. That's about worth 50 billion pounds right there. And then let us not forget, you get to see Kate run. You get to see Kate play tennis. You get to see Kate reenact the scene from Private Benjamin. Remember Private Middlebaum? Private Middlebaum. You get to see her do that. You get to watch Kate grin and smile, and you get to watch her pretend like she knows how to fold clothes. Now, if that's not worth 50, 100, 350 million pounds, I don't know what is. You get to watch Camilla pretend like she's not a smoker and a drinker. You get to figure out how long before Charles' hands explode. You know, you get to watch Andrew galloping around the Windsor estate on horseback. Doesn't everybody in the UK live in a vast estate and have access to a horse? Of course they do. So all of that is worth 350 million pounds a year. So I agree with you. I don't want to see them, disappear, but it is hard to justify 350 million pounds a year. That buys a lot of hair extensions, right? Right. And how much is, let me see here, where is it? 350 million pounds. How much is a maxi coat? How much is a maxi coat? A couture, bespoke, one of a kind maxi coat with a sexy red satin liner. That costs money. And I'm sure most taxpayers are more than willing to pay for it. And what about hair picks? Who's going to buy her hair picks? Right? That costs money. So, whatever it costs, I'm sure that the British taxpayers are more than willing to shoulder the burden that is. And also, if 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 things work out, we may have a chance to see William pretend to be a bottle of Mitchum deodorant again soon. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So thank you, God's child. You have probably helped a lot of people who have been struggling with a justification, but I think we've got there. I mean, it was a little dodgy at first, but in the end, we got there. So thank you so much, God's child. And thank you also for being a member of Royal Sussex. I wonder how much of my sarcasm can you buy with 350 million pounds a year? Oh, man. Let me see. Andrew Bodie, thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for keeping me laughing. I'm a travel nurse. It gets hard sometimes, but I look forward to your show. So informative and entertaining. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for being here. And thank you for doing God's work. Thank you for doing God's work. I tell you guys, I have so much respect for nurses. Um, there's an old saying. Do you know what? Let me see. How does that go? What was the last thing that was said before you ended up in front of a nurse? Watch this and hold my beer. So, because of people like you, when we say watch this and hold my beer, we know that there is a kind and gentle, qualified medical professional on the other end of that statement. So thank you so much. And thank you for being here. Now, watch this. Can you hold my beer? I saw that on the t-shirt one time. I love that. The last thing that a person said, watch this and hold my beer. Uh, well, yes, thank you so much. Yeah, and travel nurse, that is now, if you guys have been trying to figure out how to, travel and live, you don't just have to like work from home. There's a lot of people that work as travel nurses, and it's a great way to see the world. And you do have your downtime, you make some good money because there is a nursing shortage. So also for professions, that's another thing to consider is nursing. Connie Balmer, I didn't know you were a nurse. Wow. No wonder we have this connection. No wonder. I have sensed that aura of responsibility. Thank you so much, Connie Balmer. Wow. Now see, there you go. When I first held nurses in a very high regard, it was because of a documentary I watched. Now, one reason why I was not surprised about a global pandemic is because I watched that documentary on PBS several times about that 1918 pandemic. And I will never forget the story of the soldier who was stricken with the flu. And the only thing that gave him a reason to live was the very caring hands of the nurse that took care of him. And so he was in and out of consciousness. And then finally, he slept. And for days, he was out of it. He didn't know where he was or anything. He was just out of it. And so once he came around and he was himself again, he remembered that angelic face that was looking into his day after day with those caring eyes. And he asked people, what happened to nurse so and so? What happened to nurse so and so? Well, that nurse actually passed away. She had died from the pandemic. And, but how many people at a time like that would put themselves out there, would put other people's comfort ahead of their own? How many people do that? Not a lot. Not a lot. So that's why I say, and also the bus drivers, the supermarket workers, and everybody else who helped us be as normal as possible during a very abnormal time. Those are the heroes. Those are the heroes. The people that kept things moving, the emergency services, the police, the fire department, those kind of people. We found out from the pandemic that being an essential worker doesn't just mean emergency services, is bus drivers and supermarket cashiers too. All of those things. So I tell you, I took a lot from the pandemic, but there's a photo that has been going around of a nurse who have creases, red rings on her face from wearing the mask every day. I mean, imagine that. You are literally watching your skin break down wearing that mask day after day after day, caring for people. And a friend of mine was actually in the hospital, and she was not making it. She was not making it. And the nurse that was taking care of her, she said, I need to roll you over on your stomach. And she was like, and this is her words. She said that her boobs are so big she can, that just wasn't going to work. And she was like, no. And the nurse said, listen, I have to get you on your stomach. We got to do this. And also, she didn't want the nurse to injure herself or get sick. And so she kept telling her no. And so finally, she got her to roll over on her stomach. And that was when she started to come back because she was barely breathing on her back. And so, along with that, the nurse had told her, she said, I want to see your smile. She said, I want to see your smile because she wanted to connect with her humanity. So she didn't want to do that because she was afraid the nurse would get sick. And she's like, trust me, I'll be okay. But that nurse saved her life. That nurse saved her life. Because if it wasn't for that nurse's intervention, then she probably wouldn't have made it. She knows she wouldn't have made it. She went in there for one thing and ended up getting infected whilst at the hospital, and so that's what nurses do. So there you go. All right, so a little bit off topic, but again, that is just something that has to be said. Oh yeah, I love me some Jimmy Carter. All right, so here, didn't I just mention this person yesterday? Yesterday, didn't I tell you that every time the Sussexes need to have a dressing down, that they always pull out Arthur Edwards? Didn't I just say that yesterday? These are slides from yesterday. I told you. When they want to try to play down Diana, people like Arthur Edwards will say things like, the Duchess of Cornwall introduced me to Henry. Oh, wait, is that it? Where is that at? Oh, yeah. So, okay, so he spent the day with Camilla. And then over here, almost in the same breath, it didn't take long, royal photographer stirs controversy by claiming Camilla is nicer than Princess Diana and easier to get on with. People's memories are slipping, he said. So he's trying to gaslight people by saying that everybody knows Diana wasn't that nice. They're only saying she's nice because she's no longer here. And he has been the photographer for Charles for 40 years. He's been taking photos of Charles. So when he says that his boss, when he says that the reigning ruler, the reigning king, ex-wife, late ex-wife, was not a nice person, but oh, by the way, I spent the day with his current wife, Camilla, then you know where that's coming from. So over here, let's go back over here. Royal photographer Arthur Edwards says Prince Harry was once somebody special, but that changed after he married Meghan Markle. He met her and did a 180 turnaround. Now, notice the photo that they're using. This photo, I believe, is photoshopped. British photographer renowned for taking photos of royal family claims Prince Harry's personality changed after he married Meghan Markle, right? And then over here in the UK, Spare has become the fastest selling nonfiction book since records began in 1989. So that was what he said after Spare came out. Then over here, I don't know when this one was published. I don't know how old that one is, but the Duke of Sussex autobiography sold 750,000 copies. Well, I think it's around that time. Wait, yeah, because he's got the same outfit on. So yeah, same occasion, same talk show. And that was 27th of April. That was yesterday. He said that. So the Duke of Sussex autobiography sold 750,000 copies across all formats, print, audio, and ebook in the United Kingdom since its publication on January 10th. This makes it the biggest selling memoir ever for its first week of publication, according to publishers Transworld and the UK. So Arthur Edwards was sent out there to do a hatchet job on Prince Harry, and of course, to make Meghan seem like the evildoer, like Meghan is so sneaky and malicious, and he's under the control of Meghan, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, the photo. The night that Meghan was out with Harry, when they went to, what was it, Albert Hall or whatever, she was wearing these red drop earrings, these long red earrings. Picture on the right is fake, no earrings. Black spots on nose, right. So, but you could actually buy that photo from one of those, I forget which, Photoshop or stock or whatever. It's not Photoshop or stock or whatever, it's another place. But you could actually buy that photo as though you're buying the original. But it still doesn't make sense because, as you can see in the photo, Meghan doesn't have any earlobes. Where's her earlobes? What happened to her earlobes? Did they come off with the earrings? Did they get in the car and then she snatched them off and the earrings went with it? What happened to her earlobes? Well, if she did have earrings, what were they hanging on? Her hair? That never made sense to me. So they actually sell the photo as though it's an original, but I don't believe it is. So what are her earrings hanging on? What happened to her ears all of a sudden? Why does her ears seem like they are just growing right out the side of her face instead of the side of her head? So I think it's photoshopped. Yeah, I think it's photoshopped. Now, Harry is in the car, looking exhausted, right? They've had a big night. And I'm not even sure that image isn't photoshopped. You know, this is days before Harry was leaving the UK for good. And so that is the photo that was deliberately selected to make the case that Harry is under mind control, that Meghan has changed him. Yeah. Hey, Mystic Toxin says, holy moly, I got busy, so I had to dip out. I come back to see you're still live. Oh, yeah. What am I still doing on here? It's 2.5 hours. I didn't think I was going to be on here that long. I don't know what happened. Did somebody roofie me or what? All right, you guys. Uvalde benches update. The benches are up. More pictures to come when landscape is done. Landscaping, right? Landscaping. Okay, Costello, 20 months membership. You know what? I think you were the other person along with Church Nelly that had 20 months. 20 months membership. It doesn't even seem possible. Hi, Baron. Late, but listen, while I work, I have a slew of nurses on my, what is that? Oh, let me stop this thing. It's moving. Nurses on my in-laws side. They're very helpful when you're in the hospital. Oh, yes, Kay Costello, free medical advice. That's why I love them. Now, if I could just find one that could write scripts, I'm good. Well, yes, thank you for sharing that. And send a shout out to the nurses. Thank you for 20 months membership. Okay. So yeah, that is what's going on. The benches are installed. They will have those nameplates installed as well. But you can see one back in the corner there. There's a play lot that they're working on. Also, there's the other bench back there. and they're holding up some signs or photos, not photos, but some artwork from the students, I suppose. But yes, that is the bench. Very cool. And you know what, guys? There is something going on with the United States Secret Service. Did you guys know that? Something is going on with the United States Secret Service. Now, because of the state of the economy here in the United States, and trust me, um, United Kingdom is not the only one that has experienced problems from the pandemic. I think most countries have. So, in order to protect the first family and to also make sure that the agents are fit, they had to bring in some younger agents, right? And everybody reveres the Secret Service as being this elite um, police force there to not only protect the president, but did you guys know that the establishment of the Secret Service was not protecting presidents, but to protect the money? The first job for the Secret Service when they were established back in the 1860s was to protect the United States from counterfeiters, to make sure that people were not producing and distributing fake money. So that was the original purpose of the Secret Service. All right, since that time, they have become the elite force of protection officers for the United States president, the Speaker of the House, the Vice President, and so on. Visiting dignitaries also have Secret Service protection, but they are trying to save some money. So, of course, when you have older service people, they actually have, well, they're expensive because of their job experience, because of the raises and bonuses and stuff. They're expensive. Hello, I'm a nurse practitioner in mental health care, 40 years experience. Right. Uh-oh. I like you. I'm gonna have to talk to you after Royal Sussex. But anyway, thank you for sharing that, and thank you so much for the super chat. Um, yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Shout out to the nurses. All right, you guys, you got to see this. This is how they have decided to save money. Yesterday, the president was escorted out to the podium by his new crack team of super agents. Anyway, that's the new Secret Service. They are designed to blend in. Now, tell me, if you were in a crowd of people and you were trying to shake the president's hand, would you notice these Secret Service agents? Now, remember, they are licensed to kill. Would you even notice them? I say nay. You probably you probably wouldn't recognize them. But yes, that is our new Secret Service. Um, it's like Secret Service point five, well, you know what I mean, 2.0 Secret Service. And they're there to protect the commander in chief. So I feel safer already. I feel like President Biden is quite secure and that absolutely no one could get at him if they tried. And also the White House press corps, in order to make sure that younger people have their voices heard, they have also replaced the White House press corps. So, you know, next time you see the, you know, the press room at the White House, just if you hear those loud, squeaky voices, it's probably because they have some younger people that are participating at the White House. And also, I have to tell you that because if I don't, you might confuse them with somebody else, because sometimes kids have that kind of squeaky voice. Now it could either be the White House press corps, or it could be Vicky Arbiter, because she has that.
With all of this, it's less than 2 weeks now.
Where is it?
The Buckingham Palace preparations well underway for the coronation a week on Saturday, and as engineers put up the staging, royal watchers say this court action throughout the nation.
Wait, where is she?
Involved. Say,
I think it's
there
members of
she
his
is.
family at the coronation. There's going to be very little time for them to meet on a personal one-to-one basis, simply because the weekend is going to be so difficult. But he hasn't spoken to most members of his family, even his brother, since the publication of Spare.
Oh my God, isn't that awful? No wonder she blocked me. Did you know she blocked me? I never sent her anything. I haven't criticized her on Twitter. I haven't sent her anything, and she blocked me. And I was watching the news, and all of a sudden I heard, oh, that'll haunt your dreams. Is it Dansby 1? Dansby. Am I saying it right? Dansby? Thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. You guys, I am dragging this out. I think I'm almost done. Let me see here. Oh, look at that. How cute. How cute is that? And look at him adjusting his earpiece, just like a real Secret Service agent. Look at him adjusting his earpiece. That is adorable. Oh, I love this. This is so much fun. That is fun. When I saw this, I was like, oh, that is too cute. That is adorable. Okay, so I think this is the end, you guys. Thank you so much. The two homies that you see there, you might recognize them. That is, the brother on the right, that is Tucker Carlson, rather. And on the left is Brother Don Lemon. Two bros just hanging out. What up, bruh? What up, bruh? That's all they got to do. And then, of course, at a certain point, they might have to say something like, bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. But other than that, they spend their days, just playing That's My Car and drinking a 40. That's what they do. They got all day to drink a 40. So, and they shall live happily ever after. Oh, okay. This is not right. Well, this was supposed to be our queens, but somehow I messed that up. But anyway, our queens, Doria and Diana. There we go. Get Diana in there. All right. Very cool. So when you see our queens, we are done. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for being here for almost 3 hours. That wasn't my plan either. But anyway, I had fun. And thank you, Mod Squad, for keeping us safe. Keep praying for Church Nellie, and also everybody have a good weekend. That's what I'm trying to say. Have a good weekend. And with that, you guys, I am going to look for a last comment, and then I am out. Thank you, Andrew Bodie. Thank you very much. Let me see here. Yes, absolutely. And my lashes came out. Oh man. Okay. Let me see here. As we say, all right, there we go. Teresa McDougall says, prayers out for everyone. All right, that sounds like a closing to me. Thank you, Lauren, for being here. All right then. Thank you very much. Love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Almost 3 hours. I promise you, I did not plan that. It just happened. Okay. Hey, Anastasia Isabella. Are you through moving or are you still in the process of moving? I want to move. I want to go somewhere. I don't know where I would go now, but it's, I mean, I got a pretty good deal, so I'd be crazy to walk away from it. But, when the average American is paying like $1,705 for rent. And the mortgage rate right now the mortgage rates are high. So anybody who's planning to move, all I can say is take all that in consideration. But, sometimes you just have to go. But God, this thing with housing, decent, affordable housing, that is a battle that we have been fighting since the Second World War. And still, I'm everywhere. It's a human right, and I think we ought to fight harder for it, right? Oh, thank you, Black Queen. Thank you. Yeah, well, you guys are the reason why. I mean, I sometimes I know I probably have too much, and I try to cut it back a bit, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it. It's just like hanging out with friends. So it's always been that way. Even when I was doing the recorded videos, and now with the live videos, it's that much more of a connection. So, and I thought doing the lives, I'm like, oh, this is easy. I ain't gonna have to do all that editing and this and that. And look at me now. Speaking of which, what was the last thing I posted? Oh, you know what? See you guys. Go ahead and leave if you are done, because I'm just going to play that video that I made yesterday or that I posted early this morning. And then after that, I am going to Ginger Avenger us out of here, but you all probably have seen it already. If not, you can watch it again.
Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has signed for representation with WME. Variety can report exclusively. The signing represents a crown jewel for WME, one might say, as numerous agency rivals have tried to land the public figure formerly known as Meghan Markle since she and husband Prince Harry moved to California in 2020. Her team at WME will include Power Agent turned Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel, Brad Slater, the rep and brand architect within the agency for Dwayne Johnson, and longtime Serena Williams agent Jill Smaller. Additionally, WME will assume representation of Archwell, her and Prince Harry's content creation label. Film and television production, brand partnerships, and overall business building will be explored. Acting will not be an area of focus. The relationship signifies that Meghan is looking to zero in on her enterprise efforts. Her lifelong advocacy for women, mothers, and girls will remain a thread in her professional work. In her Variety cover story last year, she discussed her ambitions around Archwell original content. She and Harry are currently engaged in a deal with Netflix. So much of how my husband and I see things is through our love story. I think that's what people around the world connected to, especially with our wedding. People love love. I'm not excluded in that sentiment, Meghan said. For scripted, we want to think about how we can evolve from that same space and do something fun. It doesn't always have to be so serious, like a good rom-com. Don't we miss them? I miss them so much. Thus far, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have produced 2 docuseries with Netflix, including Harry and Meghan. That series represents the most streamed documentary premiere in Netflix history, with 81.5 million minutes watched in its first week. Meghan is a global icon, topping lists such as Time Magazine's Most Influential People, the Financial Times' 25 Most Influential Women, Variety Power of Women, and British Vogue's Vogue 25. Formed in 1898, WME is the longest-running talent agency. In 2009, William Morris Agency, WMA, merged with Endeavor to become one of the leading entertainment and media companies with an unparalleled list of artists and content creators. In 2014, WME acquired IMG, the global leader in sports, events, media, and fashion, forming Endeavor.
I just love doing my edits. Oh, you guys don't know how much I miss doing my edits. That is so much fun. I mean, sometimes I just get stuck. I cannot stop. I'm like, ooh, what if I put this? What if I add that? Yeah, that is fun. What? We've been here 3 hours. Okay, what you want to talk about? Oh man, it's Friday. I'm thinking catfish, right? A nice catfish dinner. Oh boy, that sounds good. Ooh, some catfish. Yes. Yeah, I think catfish tonight. You know, I really love sushi, but that is a bit extravagant. I save sushi for special occasions, so I think catfish is good. Thank you, Pam Porter. But yeah, I love doing my edits. So much fun. All right, you guys. Let me see. Noreen Lovelock, you must be at the part when I mentioned the racketeering stuff. Yes. Right? Yes. Dusted with some cornmeal and oh boy. And then they put it in that container. They put it on top of them slices of bread, and it's so hot it melt the container and oh boy, boy, boy. That is some good eating. Lord have mercy. Some catfish. I get the fillets. I don't like the nuggets or croquettes. I like me a catfish fillet. Mm-mm. Oh, you know what? My whole life, I have been so many other things beside my name. I have been Brian, Darren, Bryant, you name it. And then what gets me is people look at the spelling, right? And they say, like if I'm at an appointment, they'll say, Bayron? Are you Bayron? And then, of course, people that have known me 30, 40 years spelling my name with 2 R's. That's weird. I mean, I know there's the magazine, but the proper spelling has 1 R, not two. I cannot explain the magazine's 2 R's, but the proper spelling has 1 R. If your country is 1 R, that's how you spell Bayron. Is there a Bayron? Right? Yeah, okay. So I think I'm going to have the catfish. And by the way, you guys, I have given up sweets. I haven't had any for, I think, 2 weeks now. And now I've lost the taste for it. Whereas before it was like, oh, I got to go get me a cookie. I have kind of lost the taste for it. So I'm doing good where that's concerned. Yeah, those energy highs and lows, I think that's what the point of it was, is that I was dependent upon those energy highs and lows. Well, you substitute that with fruit. You substitute fruit. And because the fruit has fibers, it distributes the glucose in your bloodstream at a slower, more measured pace. So there you go. All right. All right. Yes, I love me some shrimps. Yeah. Let me see here. But yeah, that Arthur Edwards, he's such a monster. He is a monster. Um, I just talked about him, and then I look at the interweb, and there he is. And these two, I always wonder, when are people ever going to get tired of this performative art known as Will and Kate? It's like action figures, right? Not that they're very active people, but it's like Barbie this, Barbie that, Barbie and Ken. Although this Barbie and Ken are not the you know, eternally gorgeous people in the Mattel boxes that we're used to. This is a different Bobby and Ken that are aging rapidly as we speak. But yeah, this little cutesy stuff that they do, it's gonna get old. It is going to get old. I'm so disappointed with William, though. So disappointed. He's sitting up there taking that money and don't want his brother to be able to do the same thing. And with Harry, Harry was more interested in an apology and an acknowledgement. It wasn't the money, it was the acknowledgement. You see, if he gets them to apologize, it's really going to take some of the edge off of what they have been getting away with. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to cue the Ginger Avenger. Thank you all for your very generous contributions. Thank you for watching Royal Sussex. This has not been a Mark Goodson or a Bill Totson production. No animals were maimed or injured, not even the Cambridges. And there has never been any nudity or violence involved with the making of Royal Sussex. Although the English language has been butchered on occasions, but that wasn't the fault of anyone here at the Royal Sussex. That was
Police! Police!
All right, you guys, I'm out. Oh, what is that? Just ate 2 banana nut muffins, Bear. Need to stop talking about food. Yes. You know what? I need to get my catfish going. I got to get my catfish on. All right, you guys. I'm just like my mouth watering, thinking about biting into it, and woo, good eating. And then, of course, I get the large order so I can have some more for later. But I got to go get my catfish. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean no harm. I got to get my catfish. Oh, man. It just seems perfect for a Friday. I mean, I'm not a Catholic, but I'm a Catholic sympathizer. There's Catholics in my family. So if I ever do any Catholic jokes, I think through my family connections, I'm okay. I'm immune for criticism. So let me see here. Oh, thank you, Rosalind Gatewood. Buffalo fish, Baron. Now, don't buffalo have all them bones? Don't they have a lot of bones? Or is that bass? I can't stand them bones. But you know what? I did have some fish and chips. And all the time that I have spent in the UK, back and forth, I had never had fish and chips. And I had some on the wedding day. And it was good. And I haven't had fish with vinegar since I was a kid. They actually used the vinegar as a condiment. I had no idea, but I guess most of the fish and chip restaurants have vinegar available. I thought that was just, something that we did at home. I didn't know that other people ate their fish with vinegar. So, but yeah, that was good. That was good. Okay, I'm getting hungry too. So Buffalo has a lot of bones. Yeah. Yeah, I hate picking through those bones. I mean, I'll do it. Oh, we deliver. Let me see. I will order for delivery. Me too, Pam Porter. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to order out. And Perch has bones. Yeah, Perch has bones. Yeah. I mean, if they're the soft bones, fine. But if they're remember when the Queen Mother had that bone lodged in her throat? She had to have surgery because she got that bone stuck in her throat. I remember that. Yeah, the Queen Mother had obviously ate a little bit too fast or something, but she had a fish bone stuck in her throat. And I think they had to give her surgery. Yeah. And they said the Queen Mother had injured herself when she fell. Yeah. Fell, inebriated. Isn't it all the same thing? Isn't it all the same thing? Oh man, I am never going to get invited to the Archwell cookout. And if there is anyone on the Sussex's team, do not mention Royal Sussex. Do not mention Royal Sussex. Whatever you do, I want the Sussexes to have plausible deniability when it comes to the existence of Royal Sussex, because I don't think that it'll go over too well. People don't really understand what we're doing here. Amen. So I don't ever want to have any type of notoriety or anything like that. I'm fine just the way things are. Don't want to draw any heat for Harry and Meghan. We'll keep it small and have fun just among us, right? Right. No need to involve anybody else in our fun. No, put me on the Lorraine show. So every time she talk, I'll talk back to her. Oh, Lorraine, whatever happened to Russell Myers? Did they ever find his other ear? Do you miss Russell Myers? Why is Russell Myers so mean? Elaine, did you ever wonder where happened to his other ear, Russell Myers? Yeah, I'd rather do the Lorraine. But if I go on Loose Women, do I get to wear bangs? If I go on Loose Women, I'm going to wear bangs. That's what I'm going to do. You can't be on Loose Women and not have bangs. Everybody on Loose Women wears bangs. Big, big bangs. Big age concealing, age forgiving bangs. That way they can hide those bloodshot eyes and them hound dog faces. That's what they need them bangs for. You got to have big bangs now. I want some of those big, big Loose Women bangs. Everybody on there got bangs. When they get to work, they don't say report the hair and makeup. They say report the bangs. They need you in bangs. Yeah, they don't even say hair and makeup. They just call it bangs. Oh, man. Yeah, every show has hair and makeup, right? Loose Women is bangs because the bangs go first. You can't have one without the other. You got to have them big bangs. So, oh, they call them fringe? Oh, over here they call them bangs, but so over there they call them fringe? Really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't know that. All right, very cool. Oh, yeah. Well, it's supposed to rain here tomorrow. I love the rain because I like the idea of the nature replenishing itself. But where my allergies are concerned, it's a big nuisance. I know. I am getting so hungry, so I need to go. It is time for me to eat. All right. So we're good, right? And Connie, you said you're in France now, right? You're in France. You're not in Switzerland anymore, I think you said. Or were you just visiting? Either way, that's pretty cool. Oh man. I think a lot of people in Europe did not take advantage of being there. I mean, there's so many like um, little idyllic towns and cobblestones, and everything looks like a postcard. And the trains, I don't know why people take planes from city to city. If I lived in Europe, I would take the train everywhere. I've never flown from like one city to another in Europe. I always take the train. It's just so much more convenient because with the train, you literally land. I mean, the train stops right there in the center of the city. So it is so convenient. Oh, got it, Connie Balmer. Got it. Very cool. Oh, V Bram, thank you. Love you. Thank you so much for being here. Now that makes my day. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. You're watching the replay? Really? Okay. Wait a minute. Am I still on or am I dreaming? Oh, man. I wonder if I'm really here. I mean, have I eaten my catfish already or no? Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, I mean, you could always catch up later. I guess it's not the same experience, but all right, you guys. Thank you. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. And cue the ginger. Did I do Ginger Avenger? No, I didn't. Okay. I'm going to cue the Ginger Avenger, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Oh man, I know. What would Neo do? You have to take a choice: the red pill or the blue pill. Well, red is too Republican for me, so I'd have to take the blue one. Yeah. Yep. Okay. See you guys. I'm literally on the DoorDash. All right. See you guys tomorrow.